I think clients are typically concerned with two things when it comes to rental properties. Number one is the equity in the property and the equity in the ownership of that property. Number two is the income that it is throwing off and will throw off in the future. I think for both those issues, the first thing you have to do is you have to understand, is the property community property or is it separate property? If it's the separate property of one spouse, that's easy. The property goes to that spouse. The income from that property goes to that spouse, with some minor exceptions. But if it's community property, that is where the options kind of open up. I think generally courts do not want to force parties to sell property, especially rental properties, and the courts will do whatever they can to allocate it to one party. The party who does receive the property will buy out the other spouse of the property interest and of the equity in that property, which means an equalization payment from the spouse receiving the property to the other spouse. In terms of income, that kind of goes along with the property and which spouse that is allocated to. Income of the property will count towards that spouse's income for child support purposes and spousal maintenance. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, the tax basis of the property will also follow it. So if you're receiving a property, that is something to keep in mind, because the equalization payment that you pay to your spouse will ultimately be on the total equity in the property, not the tax affected equity in the property.